Hey family, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. Thank you guys for joining me tonight, and thank you guys so much for showing me so much love on my live last night. You guys know I'm, starting to get back into the swing of things. So I just want to say thank you. I appreciate all the love. A quick announcement, don't forget, I'm doing a $50 cash app giveaway at the end of the week. I want you guys to vote on whether you like Scandalous Squad, Scandalous Crew, and I already said I like Celebrity Socialite, something, y'all. I can't remember the other one. My daughter gave me a name. But anyway, please jump in the comments, leave your comments, vote, and let me know which one you like the best, and I will be giving somebody a $50 cash app giveaway. Okay? So let's jump right into the video. I'm not going to keep you long because I know it's late. Everybody got to get up and get to work tomorrow. Got to hit it just like me. But with all of the allegations, with J-Rod's allegations against Diddy, a lot of people are talking about the fact that that Diddy has been giving up new information, or actually has been bragging. I mean, these are all allegations in J-Rod's complaint, and he's been bragging that Diddy did say that J-Lo carried the pow pow that night, and that he paid jurors off, and that there was witness tampering. So what does all of that mean now that he's under FBI investigation? So we're going to take a look back. So let's just I remember when this case happened. I mean, I remember it like yesterday because it was a big deal. At that time, I don't remember stuff being on Instagram and all of that. But I do remember it was like daily in the news. It was on like our big entertainment shows like Entertainment Tonight. And even Wendy Williams talked about it. I mean, this was a big deal because it was P. Diddy and J-Lo, So let's look at this video I want to show you and just kind of take a look back at some of the things that were occurring back then when this story was unfolding. So give me a second. Let's see. So I'm going to share my screen. Let me take this off. I'm trying to get faster at this, you guys. I'm really trying to get faster. It's going to take me a minute, but I'll get there. Okay, so we got that video up. So I want to play this for you.
Now tell me who wanna fuck with us. Ashes to ashes, dust to dust. I bang and let your fucking brains hang. Snitches, fuck all of me for bitches with riches who carry 22s up in they hosiery.
Okay, so I'm going to stop it right there. Basically, what I was doing was trying to give you guys a reminder of who Sh00tng is, because honestly, I didn't remember any of his music. I remember the case back in the day, but I didn't remember. I can't remember anything that he did. But I know that based on the stuff that I'm reading now, is that he was on the brink of being a big success. He was becoming really big in the hip hop industry. I remember the name because of this case, but really just didn't know any of his work or anything. So you guys jump in the comments if you remember him. Let's see. Billy Gates is saying big shout. Hey, London. I've been to London one time too. Years ago. Actually, I've been twice, and I definitely want to come back. Yeah, so cool. Thank you, Billy Gates. Shout out to you too. And yeah, happy Easter back to you. Yeah, yesterday for us, But yeah, anyway, so that was Sh00tng. So I just wanted to kind of recap who he was, and that gives you an intro as to what occurred. And I'm also going to play a quick video that I did as well, kind of like highlighting and showing you how big this case was and some of the highlights on the news at the time when it was first being reported, like things that were happening during the trial. I mean, this was on every day, and it was really crazy because I just remember Jennifer Lopez, when it actually happened, you know, after the reports that they were arrested and everything, they said that J-Lo, you know, just kind of hopped out of she just started walking off like, I'm done with this. So there were so many reports as to J-Lo didn't cooperate. She tried to leave, but essentially she was arrested. But take a look at this video that I did. This is going to give you also a little bit of a background. One second. Let me see. Okay. Play that for you.
2 notes, one of which asked for a transcript of a session in bribery charges against Sean Puffy Combs. This afternoon, jurors sent the judge 2 notes, one of which asked for a transcript of a phone message Combs left Wardell Fenderson, once his driver, now the prosecution's star witness. During the trial, Fenderson testified that Combs was armed the night of the shooting at Club New York and later pressured him to claim ownership of a pistol police found when they pulled over Combs' Lincoln Navigator as it fled the shooting.
And I just want to make you feel like comfortable, you know what I'm saying? Make your family feel comfortable.
What exactly Combs meant by that is in dispute, but the prosecution claims the rapper offered Fenderson $50,000 or a diamond ring to take the rap for the jurors also want.
Now, can y'all imagine somebody got pow-powed and you want somebody to take the rap for you? Somebody is facing criminal charges, may go to prison for 10 years, and you offer them $50,000? And so that was like in 1999 to the early 2000s, $50,000. That's nothing, especially to a person who was probably, for sure, during that time, Diddy was at least a millionaire. Okay, you're gonna offer this man $50,000 or a diamond ring?
Wanted to hear a readback of testimony relating to Combs' former girlfriend, actress-singer Jennifer Lopez, who was in the Navigator when it was stopped by police. An officer testified that everyone in the SUV was ordered to put their hands on the vehicle, but Lopez walked away, saying she was going home. As she was being detained, was discovered in the vehicle. At that point, a sergeant on the scene ordered everyone who was in the vehicle under arrest. The officer quotes Lopez as saying, "It's not my..."
So you guys know with YouTube, you can't use certain words and stuff. So basically that's what happened. I mean, that was on the news, you know, almost daily. This was like a trending topic for us. So we see that J-Lo at the time, her and Diddy were together. I just remember reports saying that when it initially came out and it was reported to us, it was that everybody knew that J-Lo allegedly had the pow-pow in her purse, and that when everything broke out, you know, the melee broke out in the club, that she handed it to Diddy, right? And that he pow-powed the lady. Now, the woman, Tania Rubin, she says, and she has claimed this ever since it started, ever since, you know, the incident occurred, that she got to look in his face and she confirms that it was Diddy who pulled the trigger. I mean, she stated this, she testified to it, but apparently Diddy was acquitted and Sh00tng took the fall. Now, what we're learning now, 20 years later, is that, which we all suspected back then too. I mean, everybody talked about it. It was like an open secret. Everybody suspected that Diddy had paid off, you know, people, and definitely Sh00tng, but had paid people off so that he would get off, right? So that he would be acquitted. It's all coming out now. And I really believe, and I know, even with that tape that you just heard where he's saying that I want to give you this $50,000 to make your family comfortable, those tapes were all, that was evidence back in the day. Like that, I don't see how they could not use that. Clear as day, he's saying, you know, if you take the fall, he doesn't say it. I mean, you know, he's talking about in a roundabout way, but they knew what he was talking about. And even with all of that evidence, he was still able to get off. So with Rod's new, and I hope I'm saying this man's name, Little Rod, with his new lawsuit against Diddy, all of this is starting to come out, and now it's being more concrete. And now what's being said is that that case may be reopened. So what does that mean? Now, y'all know I said I used to be a litigation secretary. I didn't do criminal law. So I really don't know the technical aspects and what can and cannot be, you know, if a person could be recharged for a crime if they were acquitted. What I know, just from what I know, I've heard of double jeopardy, that you can't be retried for the same case, especially if the evidence was given back at the time and you were acquitted. Don't quote me on that, because like I'm not the legal beagle here. But as far as I know, I don't think Diddy can be tried for that again. But what we do know is that with this new evidence, they can go back and investigate. I mean, he's under a federal investigation right now. So you know for sure, oh, that's crazy. Y'all, I get a little bit off topic, but I have co-workers that work in London and they were off today. I think it was a holiday. So I don't know if it's their Easter holiday. Yeah, but they were off. My bad. They were off yesterday. Okay, yeah, yesterday. But yeah, so some of my colleagues work in London. This is so messed up. Hip hop, rap. Who would have thought? How do you grow up on the street, make legit money, and then end up like this? If that's what money does to people, you can keep the money. I totally agree. You know, like for years, people just looked up to Diddy, and even to the young ladies looking up to Cassie. Who would have thought that she was going through all of this stuff, like being affiliated with Diddy and Bad Boy Records? Everybody thought her life was so fabulous. She's going to the red carpets. They're going to the Grammys. She's, you know, dressed and wearing all these clothes. Like, now we're finding out how really grimy this industry really is. And Wendy Williams was the very first person to give us a behind the scenes look at it. Because remember, Wendy was a jock out of New York on WBLS, and she knew a lot of those guys. It's even alleged that she slept with Biggie. So she was in and about that circle back in her early days, you know, like I would say the mid 1990s, before she was married twice. She had a husband before Kevin, but she was at the party scene. She was hanging out with those guys. They would come to the studio. They'd be interviewing with her. I mean, and Wendy would give us a lot of details. Wendy would tell us just how grimy those men were. It was like, I mean, a lot of them were street guys anyway, but just to hear the level of depravity that is occurring and that has occurred, and how women, well, we initially thought it was the women, but even the men now, it's like, I mean, are there any straight men in hip hop now? Like, did you make were they all subject to some kind of a humiliation ritual, or had to sleep with somebody, even if they were a hetero man? Like, it is just crazy. But anyway, now, Billy, you done got me off topic, okay? Yeah, we off all week, Easter holidays. Okay, well, no, my teammates will be back tomorrow, okay, they will be back in the office tomorrow. So, but good for you. I hope you enjoy. We are right now in spring break, you know, in the States. So the kids are having spring break. But so now with all of these new allegations, Diddy cannot more than likely be retried, but you know, they're going to use this information to look at the evidence and these new allegations, and it's going to be dumped into the FBI investigation. And if it becomes a RICO, they're going to put it all on them. There's no escaping this. They're getting more and more information, more and more evidence. Diddy is saying, well, per Lil Rod, that he paid off jurors. That's jury tampering. You can't do that. Now, we know that with double jeopardy, allegedly, you can't be tried again. But if we find out that he paid off jurors, I don't know if that's some new information that can supersede double jeopardy. I mean, maybe. I don't know. Can somebody jump in the comments and let me know if you know about that? Like, if we find out and they can prove that he did pay off some jurors, would that change the trajectory of the outcome of the trial? It should, in my opinion. You know, Shine, I mean, he's already done his time, you know, but I think Shine has come forward, you know, previously, years prior, and say that Diddy threw him under the bus. He really thought that Diddy was going to get great attorneys and get him off. And as we can see, Hey, Queen Sherry. Hello, welcome. As we see, Diddy didn't do ish. Once Shine was convicted, he didn't get the lawyers. He didn't try to appeal, nothing. And so, in terms of the money, I know in recent years they have reconciled and they've been seen together. They've even gone to like some fashion shows together. And I think Shine has converted. He's a Muslim now. He's just changed. So everything is different for him. But I believe that in the last few years that Diddy has actually given him some money, or those are the allegations that they kind of pieced it up because Diddy did give him some money to kind of make right. In the last few years, I think Diddy has known that, his time was, kind of winding down because remember, Aubrey O'Day even came forward last year and was saying that Diddy had tried to, he was saying he would give them back the rights to their music if they would sign a disclosure, a NDA, saying that they wouldn't say anything negative about him. So I believe this is all during the time when he knew that Cassie or something was going to come out, because she said some of this occurred like around the summer of last year. So he was trying to, give people their rights back and all of this stuff if they would sign off and say, oh, don't say anything bad about me. So here's the thing, those NDAs, now we know it wasn't the fact that he didn't want them to not say anything bad about him. He did not want them to bring up things that could implement him or get criminal charges on him. That's what that was all about. I mean, it's deeper than just like, don't spill my secrets. Like, you may have seen me kissing a man or something. No, this man has done allegedly some horrific things. So I think that's why he was trying to get a lot of the people to sign the NDAs before that lawsuit hit. So if we think about it, that like attorneys, they'll go back and forth and they'll let the lawyer know, hey, my client wants this. And so remember, the earlier reports was that Diddy had told Cassie, no, he wasn't, he was refusing to do anything. He wasn't going to give her the money. But, with that new law that you could go back and sue somebody if something had occurred like 20 years, it's something about the statute, of limitations. So she was able to file right before it expired. I think Diddy knew something was coming down. So I think that's really why he was taking, trying to really get everybody on his side before some of this stuff became public, because he was assuming that this was going to allow him to shut people up. So Queen Sherry, when you talk about the case, are you talking about the overall Diddy case or the case with J-Lo? I mean, the 1999 incident. If we're talking about the 1999 incident, I'm really glad that the woman is, still speaking her truth. And now with all of these platforms and TikToks and YouTube, she can't be shut down. 20 years ago, this woman could have come forward and, made her claims and maybe talked to a couple of the television stations, which we know at that time, a lot of those probably wouldn't even air her. I don't remember ever seeing her speak publicly about it. But you have to remember when Wendy Williams was the first person who outed Diddy, saying he was gay and talking about all the weird parties that he had and all that stuff. Remember how he was able to get that woman fired from her job. So you can imagine the power that he had, right? So at that time, nobody was going to believe her. I mean, he was acquitted. Like, what could she do? He had the power. He had the money. He had all of those powerful people backing him. Nobody was going to believe her story, But now she doesn't need a Entertainment Tonight or any of those shows to go on their platform to tell her truth. You can just log on and talk to millions of people and go viral, and the story is all over the world, So Billy Gates says, at Queen Sherry, hello. This whole case scenario is just crazy. It is. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we're talking about now, 20 years ago, I remember. But, it's once it's over, you forget about it and you never think it's going to come up again. Of course, we heard stories about Diddy, but it's just rumored. But for this new lawsuit with Cassie, I think that just kind of blew the lid off of everything. I think that gave a lot of people the courage to come forward And especially the fact that he settled so quickly. I feel like his legal team, one second. I feel like his legal team, if Cassie had come forward and made those allegations and threatened that she was going to do a tell-all book or anything, or filed any kind of legal document, I feel like before they allowed it to get to the public, that they should have settled. And from what as I read different things, Diddy didn't believe that she was going to do anything. Notice how she waited to the last, like a day or two before that statute of limitations expired, right? She waited to the final moment. Now, I don't know if that was a legal strategy on her attorney's part, but it sounds like she had warned him, and it sounds like there had been some communication. So I don't know why he didn't take heed. And I feel like his legal team failed him, but of course, the attorney can only do what the client says. So if Diddy was refusing to settle with her prior to that, the allegedly the $50 million she got, what can they do? But I really feel like, just based on my little legal experience, at some point, if Diddy knew all of these allegations could come to the media, could come to the public, why didn't they try to keep a lid on this? Because they could have done this all quietly. They could have had a settlement. I mean, we still don't know all of the terms of their settlement. It could be sealed. But before it even reached the media to this level, even before they filed it, even before it was an actual legal document with, a complaint, they could have done some inner office settlement. So this is beyond me. He had too much at stake. And I think, like people said, Diddy is so arrogant. He just thought he could play that wild card and he was going to win. I mean, he's been winning, but sometimes, as they say, F around and find out. And he effed around and found out, right? Billy Gates says the world needs another Bob Marley. Oh, speaking of Bob Marley, I went to see that One Love movie. I loved it. It was just, of course, it made me cry at the end, and he was just so handsome. Okay, so you're saying, what do I think about the Diddy case? Well, I do think that there's some validity. There's just too much mounting evidence. And a lot of this stuff has been rumored for years. Every single element of it may not be true. Like, people are saying that he unalived Kim Porter. Some things, those have to be proven, right? That's still speculation. And the fact that he is at the center of, this case right now, it's like he's being accused of everything. And maybe he's done everything, but I'm not necessarily a conspiracy theorist, but I do believe that he has done a lot of dirt. I don't know if he is responsible for all of those unalivings, like Biggie, Pac, the Shakir Stewart, Kim Porter, the Kennedy girl. Like, there's so many people that they're saying he had a hand in their unaliving. And it's possible, and maybe even more that we don't even know about, but it just seems like a lot, Now, all of the allegations in terms of the freak offs and those things like that, I think, those are probably true. Too many people have participated, have been a party to, and now, even before this case with Little Rod, 50 Cent had even come forward talking about a video that he had saw of Cassie that he figured that Diddy had leaked, right? So I just think a lot of this stuff is old hat, and it is true. With the allegations, even Usher talking about he saw a lot when he stayed with Diddy. Now these rumors with Justin Bieber, like, it's starting to make you take a second look, like, wow, this stuff is just all weird. And then with Gene Deal, one of his bodyguards coming forward talking about the abuse with all of the women that he dated with the Kim Porter. I really started getting into the case about Diddy about 3 or 4 years ago. Like I said, I had to delete a lot of videos, but I really started to delve into it after she was unalived. And then I noticed that Kim was a very, very beautiful woman, especially when she was younger. And I noticed that as she started to age, there was some weird. I noticed, like in her pictures, her face looked a little funny. Like I was like, her nose looks a little different. So I thought maybe that her nose had just kind of caved a little bit because of she was aging. Like she had gotten a little older. But as I continued to do research, I found the video. Now this was back in 2019 or probably 2020, where Gene Deal was talking, I believe it was with MREC TV, where he talked about the fact that Diddy allegedly broke her nose. And so then for me, it was like, I knew something had happened to her face. I didn't know what it was. I thought, because I was like, oh, she was beautiful. She was still very pretty, even, when she passed, but there was something off about her face. And I just didn't know what it was. And then that was the explanation that I needed. And then I started to dig further and further and deeper and deeper. And then, going into all of these different sites where you would see people talking about it, because a lot of the stuff wasn't public. Of course, they're not going to put this in main media, But then I started finding more allegations of how abusive he was, even stuff about Cassie way back in the early, like 2013s and stuff, that stuff that never necessarily reached the public, the media, like, social media like now. But a lot of that stuff had been out and had been discussed. It just kind of went over my head. All of the women must have known that their so-called man was gay. I thought you ladies had a sixth sense on stuff like this. They are guilty, if you ask me. Well, now here's the thing with Diddy. I think it's bi, right? He likes men and women. I agree with you. I think that they knew about him dating men, but because of the money that he had and the power, you got to remember, if you read the Little Rod's complaint, Diddy was a very violent man. So he could definitely get his way. Like, what are you going to do? What are you going to say? Once you were in his clutches, it was probably hard to escape, because I read that Kim Porter tried to leave many times. Even Cassie talks about it in her complaint, how she tried to escape him and she would get away and he would come back and get her, right? So, and then with the allegations that he has, videos of in compromising situations, like he has dirt over your head, not to mention the fact that he's violent, like him blowing up a car, right? One of Cassie's boyfriends. Like, all of this would make me think that whether this man is straight or gay, I mean, what are you going to do about it? You can't talk about it. And if you're dating him, once he dates you, if you have a baby by him, allegedly you become his possession. He's very possessive, or so that's what the women say. So, I mean, even if they knew that he was gay, like, what could they do? They can't tell nobody. And it's not even like we know that they knew, because it was an open secret, a joke within the industry. Men would talk about it. 50 Cent would laugh about it. I mean, people joked about it. They were literally saying it, I'm going to say, maybe in the last 5 or 6 years, where it was just always an ongoing joke. But I would hear it. You would kind of hear the claims, but, it wasn't anything that was proven to be a fact. I am Michael. What is that? Let me see. 4. I think that's 4. Okay. Tell me if I'm right or wrong. Girl, he is responsible for all that. Okay. So, I am Michael says he's responsible for it all. And he could be. I mean, I just don't want to, just, they say everybody is innocent until proven guilty. And I'm leaning towards him being guilty about most of the stuff that Cassie said. But in terms of the unaliving, that's deep. I mean, you know what I mean? To put that jacket on somebody, like, I'm not saying he didn't do it, but if you're going to say this man took some people out, we need you guys to do a thorough investigation, and they really need to follow up on that and get some proof, and then he needs to do some serious time. Like you cannot get go to jail and do not pass go, right? If he did. So I'm with you, I am Michael. I agree that he probably did most of it, but just the unaliving people is the part that has me like, ooh, Diddy. I mean, really? So Billy says, so he no different from Epstein. Exactly. You know, I think with the Epstein, we see that he was really, really focused on younger girls. But now with Diddy, we're hearing that, you know, he was just Diddy's involves blackmail. There are allegations of underage girls, but it's not, it doesn't seem to be, it just seems like Diddy was just doing everything and everybody, unfortunately. And I'm not trying to laugh at it, but he did men, you know, women. So I don't know the allegations about the underage girls. I think there's only a couple at this point. So you know, those have to still be investigated. And one of the young ladies that was in a picture, you know, there's so many moving pieces. Every day there's new information, so it's just hard to keep up with everything. But there was one picture, and allegedly the woman who was in the picture, she said it was a picture of her, and she said she wasn't underage at that time. Somebody had posted a picture of one of the girls, and you know, she was like, yeah, that's me, but that's not true. Now here's the flip side of that. Was it you? Were you underage? And or did Diddy pay you to say that you weren't underage at that time? See, at this point, we just don't know. Like all of these allegations are not going to be substantiated or really under the microscope until they go to court, or you know, and they have to testify under penalty of perjury. Then it becomes, you know, truth and facts, you know, because right now it's a lot of he say, she say, it's allegations. And you can lie to the public, you can lie openly, but once you're sworn and under oath, that's when it's real, right? So a lot of it, we're just speculating at this point. If they find him guilty, how many years can they give him? So if we go back to the situation for the 1999 incident, I don't believe that they can retry him for that. Now, if they find that he tampered with evidence and jurors and all that stuff, maybe because they could argue that that would have changed the outcome, you know, of him being acquitted. So I don't think they can do anything about that. But with these new allegations, I mean, I feel like it's parallel to R. Kelly and Epstein. If with the amount of lawsuits, you know, the civil suits that are pending, and with this FBI Homeland Security investigation, with something that we're looking at like this, I mean, he's 50 years old. He's not going to get out of, I would not see that he would be able to get out of jail. This is a life. I mean, you know, and it just depends on how they charge, you know, if they bring up charges of unaliving red rum, you know, if they bring up charges of trafficking young girl, like it, this is, you know, did they give R. Kelly like 30? I can't remember the number. I don't know. But again, I think it's parallel to the same thing that they did to R. Kelly. It's going to be years and years and years. It's not like something you could probably give him like a 10-year sentence, because it's based on the evidence that they're telling us that they found. This has spanned like over 2 decades, maybe almost into 3, right? So it's just gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot. The same does not apply to him. Okay, so what do you mean the same does not apply? Let me see what you're saying. It's not just the same situation. I just feel it in my soul. You don't think it's the same situation as R. Kelly, Epstein, or what? I honestly feel it's possibly even worse, because I don't know if you saw my video from yesterday, but I feel like I did a video talking about how inappropriate he was with his sons, and Quincy, who was his stepson, kissing him on the lips. Like, I think there's just so much there that is inappropriate and wrong to me, that I think it's worse than R. Kelly. I really do think it's worse than the R. Kelly case. Now, in terms of Epstein, I don't really know all the particulars of his case. I just know, the young girls in the island. I didn't follow that case that much. I didn't follow the Weinstein case, nor did I follow the Bill Cosby. But for P. Diddy, yeah, it's more. I have more of an interest in that because that was the time that I listened to his music, and the whole East Coast, West Coast, and Tupac and everything. So I'm really more vested in this case than I was the others. But I do feel there's some parallels, Yeah, they are both sick and twisted. Agreed. It's sad too, because remember, one sec, you guys, I don't know, when I talk, I'll be having to cough, and I don't want to cough in the mic. That's so rude. That's so rude. I feel like and I lost my train of thought. See what coughing will do? It just kind of takes you off. Anyway, I'm gonna just skip on, go to the next thing. Well, we know about the underage boys ushering. Exactly. And I know you guys have probably seen the video where Diddy is questioning Justin Bieber, talking about, I haven't talked to you. We haven't been in touch. It's like, what grown ass me? What are you like? I get that he's a producer and stuff, but I'm really still not understanding why there wasn't more parental involvement. You don't just turn your children over to adults, especially the kind of music that they're singing, the surroundings. Like, wouldn't you be curious? I don't know. It's just so weird. It don't matter how many years they can give him. He got eternity with his boss, Satan. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I feel like he's done. Some people are saying, well, he's running around. Why haven't they arrested him yet? Y'all know the feds will take years. Listen, we can go all the way back to 2018 with that guy, Jonathan Odie, where he was talking about, remember, Tisa Tells is the one who kind of broke that story. Jonathan was talking about Cassie and the fact that they were, shipping, transporting liquid cocaine in bottles back then, right? So he was saying that in an interview, and I was going to do a video tonight. My video tonight was really going to be about all of the people that are connected, because we have Odie, who was talking back in 2018. There's the attorney, Mark Garagos, who represented, he was in the case with, he has represented Diddy before, but he has represented, I think he was also involved in the case with R. Kelly and then Avenatti. So all of these people are interconnected, right? So it's not like the feds are just learning about some stuff about Diddy now. I think with this new lawsuit with Cassie, and then all of this slew of complaints against him, now they're able to just finally make a solid case, a solid rock case. But you got to know, he's been on their radar, I'm sure. All of those rappers have been on their radar. Tupac, if you go back, if you read the stuff about Martin Luther King, like they might not. Whitney Houston, they got, the FBI has notes on Whitney Houston. So come on now, we know that they've been knowing about some of Diddy's behaviors. He just may not have done anything egregious enough for them to be able to do anything. And also, we have to remember, maybe his reign of, connections, the people in power who have been protecting him, maybe they're not able to do it anymore. So finally, they're able to do something, What do you think about J-Lo, and do you think she is freaking out behind the scenes? Absolutely. Okay, let's talk about J-Lo, because I remember J-Lo and Diddy, and then Ben Affleck, and so I feel like the thing about it, okay, so we don't know if they can retry him for that case, right? So that's a question mark. A legal analyst will have to answer that. But what we do know is that they are definitely going to go back and start re-questioning people. I saw a legal analyst talk about it, and he said, with the new allegations, because it is a FBI investigation, they are definitely going to go back and revisit the claims in this complaint. Whether they're valid or not, they will look at this as new evidence. because you got to remember, they're going to try to use everything they can. You know how attorneys say, throw everything on the wall and see what sticks. So every bit of information they can get to show that jury tampering, that's a felony. I mean, come on, you know? So I feel like J-Lo does not want, J-Lo just got married again. Okay. J-Lo just got married to Ben Affleck, the love of her life. Do you think she wants her name to be tied with this bum over here? And I'm just calling him a bum based on, you know, the new allegations and stuff. But can you imagine how her husband feels? Can you imagine? I mean, that's just like 50 Cent finding out that his baby moms may have been a ex-worker for Diddy. This is embarrassing, right? I mean, you know, men, that's his wife. He wants a pristine wife. He don't want his wife associated with this nonsense, because this brings back up, oh, you were ucking Diddy. You know, just, you know, that is just, ugh. And there are also reports that, yeah, she's like saying she doesn't want to be a part of it. Leave her name out of it. That was 20 years ago. Do you think she wants any association with that? Not at all. I know she's pissed as hell, but unfortunately, with a high probability, she's going to be questioned again. There's probably just no way around it, because there's so much evidence coming out. There's so much new information. There's no way that she probably won't be re-questioned. I mean, I'd be surprised. Now, can they do anything to her? She wasn't acquitted in the case before. So what I think will happen is that they will come hard at J-Lo to give new information to build a case against Diddy, to help them with the case against Diddy. You know, they don't care about J-Lo like that. Like, whatever her role was that night, it was just probably giving him his, you know, weapon, just like Cassie said he would do. And then, of course, she can say, he forced me, you know, he made me do it. I didn't want to do it, but he made me. I was scared for my life. You know, she's going to use that card. And then they're going to be like, okay, well, so what else can you tell us? So I think that's only going to be her role, in my opinion. If anybody else knows more than that, please put it in the chat, you know. But yeah, I think that they're just going to, you know, revisit that case and try to get more information to use against Diddy. But J-Lo is not necessarily the target, but she will be a pawn. You know how they said she was the pow pow mule for the incident? Like, it's coming back up that she actually had more of an involvement and she got off scot-free. Yeah, she probably will have to testify and have some depositions to revisit that case. I don't think it's as clean and as over as she would want it to be. Billy says, I am Michael. J-Lo stayed with him for 2 years, so she was happy to take the money and fame and keep quiet. Yeah, I mean, J-Lo, her, you know, she did the video with him and the choreography for him, and her being seen around him was great for her image at the time. It was like not too long after that occurred, I believe, from what I recall, you know, just because a lot of this, like I said, it was in the media. I remember them saying that her team, you know, her management team forbid her to be with him anymore. Like, they let her know this is bad for your image, because J-Lo, from sources that were close at the time, and even Gene Deal has talked about it, was really into Diddy and that she really loved him. Now, there's some, if you look around, you will see articles even now saying that Diddy was the love of her life back then, right? So I don't know if it was really either Diddy or Ben Affleck. I don't know. But she really liked Diddy, you know, and he really did. He was great for her career. Remember that Grammy dress that catapulted her into this whole being a fashionista, that green dress that she wore at the Grammys. Like, back in that day, like, that was kind of risque. Like, oh my God, you know, now you just let your whole behind hang out, right? So it's nothing. But then that was like kind of taboo, and oh my God, you know. So yeah, I think, you know, she was happy with the fame, and I think they would have dated longer had this incident not occurred. When do you go live? I'm trying to go live daily between 7:30 and 8:30. I got to be up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm on the West Coast, so I'm on PST time. So yeah, I'm trying to be more consistent. So I do thank you guys for joining me. But yeah, around like 7:30 PST. Oh, Billy, you are tickling my fancy with this one, because now this is the story I really want to get to. I want to get to the Jay-Z thing. Y'all got to go look at my videos where I did a video. Maybe we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll revisit a video I did where we kind of look at Jay-Z and Foxy Brown. I'm really fixated on that Jay-Z and Foxy Brown, because the rumors that they dated, I believe that they did when she was 15 or 16, allegedly. And I have a video where Wendy Williams specifically asked her, and she does not deny it. And so fingers are starting to point to Jay-Z as well. And we know that Jay-Z, Diddy, and R. Kelly, they were tight. Remember, Jay-Z and R. Kelly did that album together, The Best of Both Worlds, right? Remember that? So these guys are running together, okay? And even Dame Dash was pissed at Jay-Z, because he was like, how could you do an album with him knowing what he allegedly did to Aaliyah, right? So yeah, I feel like Jay-Z has turned a blind eye to it. And Jay-Z has some dirt bubbling up about him the same way we've been hearing stuff about Puffy for years. We've been hearing stuff about Jay-Z for years as well. And that reporter just recently revisited the fact that his alleged mistress, Kathy White, was unalived a week before she was supposed to do the interview with her, and talk about the fact that she may have been allegedly, we got to say allegedly pregnant at the same time as Beyonce. So, he's a sitting duck, in my opinion. They just waiting to take some of these guys down. Like, they've been laying dormant for years, but somebody done pissed off the wrong person. And I don't think Jay-Z can escape it anymore. Now, listen, you guys, there are very specific people that they're pointing the fingers at. We're not hearing nothing about Kanye. We know he's a freak, got his wife walking around half naked, right? So we know all the stuff about Kanye. They say he crazy and all this. We know that he likes porn. We know all the stuff. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to say that word. My bad. I'm sorry, YouTube. I didn't mean to say it. But anyway, we know that he likes, those kind of things. We know that he's into that. But you never really hear, or I have not heard, that he's done anything inappropriate to women or anything like that. Now, Tyga, remember him and Kylie? She was 16 when he dated her, and he was older. So there's some guys that we hear rumors about, that have started, and they keep coming up and it gets quieted down. We haven't heard stuff like that about Kanye. So I really believe that some of the things that we've heard about Jay-Z over the years, it's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And, with these alleged tapes that the Homeland Security has found in Diddy's house, because him and Jay-Z were right hand, left hand. Remember the Rock Nation brunches? P. Diddy would be there. They're photographed, on yachts together. That was their clique, their crew. These are young Black billionaire men, kind of the first in their industry in hip hop. Russell Simmons, a very elite small crew. And they know each other, and they kind of do the same things. 20 years ago, having a 15-year-old girl rap the lyrics that Foxy Brown rapped, what is a 15-year-old girl even singing about Il Nana? And I was singing it with her too. I ain't gonna lie. I was, hey, I got the Il Nana. Oh, I was, because I wasn't paying attention to her age at the time. But you got adult men with a 15-year-old girl, and she was pretty, but you mean to tell me you couldn't have gotten an 18 or 21-year-old to do that, right? So I think it's just a matter of time before those skeletons are going to fall out, which we know some of the bones are being released now. I mean, they coming out slowly but surely. Bill says, we hearing noise over this side of the pond about, oh, yes. That's another one. I just saw a picture of him with they kind of make it look like it's an underage. I wasn't sure, but it said something about trans. So I wasn't sure if it was supposed to be a boy that transitioned to a girl. I wasn't sure, but yes, I've just seen that, and I think that that's another one. I think that's another person. But I believe that just because everybody is so focused in on P Diddy right now, and then the people closest to him would be, the Jay-Z and R. Kelly. I think the Simon Cowell is gonna. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know enough about that history, but I did see on TikTok, and I've seen little things about people saying that he's going to be outed as well. So it's possible. How far can they go back? Well, so here's the thing. A lot of the things that he's done, I mean, he's still continuing to do, right? So with Cassie's suit, remember there was the statute of limitations that if somebody had done something to you, you could only do it up until, I think the filing date was the end of November or something. But just like with anything, let's say I 3 years ago I did something illegal and the statute is up, but I did it again today. So see, the clock starts running again. So if I'm continuing to do certain things, like the clock continues to run, like there's no expiration. So they're going to be able to go back, and even though maybe some items maybe it's beyond the date that they can, try to prosecute, they're still probably going to use all of that as evidence, right? So if he's had a criminal history of 20-25 years, they probably are going to be able to go back forever. Not literally, you know what I'm saying? But I think they'll have enough information so that they can go back far enough to be able to prosecute and do what they need to do. And it just depends on the various counts. Because remember, we're talking about, if we're talking about trafficking, we're talking about different states and different laws. Women of different ages. What did you do? We're talking about electronic digital images. Like, what did they find on? There's probably a litany of things. There's so much. They wanted his electronic devices, so they're going to be looking at that. They're going to be looking at the flight logs, with his private jets. They're probably going to be looking at the allegations about him transporting the liquid cocaine, in those Ciroc bottles and stuff like that. I mean, so there's just probably a very lengthy investigation with a lot of hands, because with the way that they did the raid, we can tell that they put a lot of money into that, millions of dollars, raided on the East Coast and the West Coast, right? The Miami home, as well as, I mean, they reported 2 homes, but there's also reports that his New York home was raided as well. I haven't seen much information about that, but that's been out there as well. So there's just gonna be a bevy of information they're gonna get on this man, I think. Bill says, poor Ben, he must be waking up each morning looking at J-Lo and be thinking inside, I know. And because with Ben, he allegedly has a bit of a drinking problem. I mean, we know Ben be getting disheveled and bent, right? He doesn't like the paparazzi, and I'm a Ben Affleck fan. I like his movies. He just had one that came out, I think, like 2 years ago. It was awesome. I can't think of the name of it. You guys, I'm not good with names and remembering stuff, okay? But this has got to be embarrassing. Like, you just married this woman after all these years, the big breakup that they have, and this is supposed to be your happy ever after. This has got to put a strain on their marriage. I mean, let's just face it. Nobody wants their wife to be at the center of something like this, especially the fact that you were, with weapons involved, and just the fact that it just looks grotesque. You out here hanging with thugs and stuff. I mean, I'm just looking at it from the perspective of a man looking at his wife. And I know it was years ago, but the fact that it's being brought up again, it's kind of flying back in their face. I know he doesn't like it. I know he doesn't. I think he's worse than R. Kelly. Yeah, I agree. I agree with you. I think so too. I don't know if you saw my video from last night. I feel like he was inappropriate with his own sons. Now, I talked about the fact that he, the allegations about him and Justin both dating Lori Harvey, which she denies. So let's even take that off the table. Him going to strip clubs with his sons, let's take that off the table. But the fact that his son is now being named in this complaint as a participant in the X parties and the freak offs with underage girls, that's a problem, because there's no way in the world that as a parent, the parent and the kid should be named in the same suit like that. You are the parent, right? So the fact that you have allowed your kid to partake in situations like this, if it's true, that's disgusting. So that means you were there, you approved it. What were you doing? I mean, that's like you turning your own kid out. That's ew. And see, that's why remember Misa was upset when he got in trouble with that I don't know if it was what was that last case, you guys? It's something that he just did like about a year ago. And she said, I will no longer protect you, keep my son out of this mess and everything. Misa Sh00tng Brim, she has witnessed over the years probably Diddy's poor parenting and knowing that he's been allowing her son to participate in all this foolishness because she knows how he gets down. So now we see why she was so pissed. She didn't say much, but she did come forward and say enough is enough. It's not going to happen. But it looks like it's a little too late because now he's named in that lawsuit. So that means he's probably going to be under investigation as well. I mean, sad to say, but that's what it's looking like. You said, I was saying that same doesn't apply to him in regards to being innocent. Yeah. None of them are innocent, to what degree, but yeah, I'm with you. None of them, all of them. I am Michael. Sounds like him and R. Kelly are going to make good roommates. Yeah, I was saying the same thing, but I think, isn't R. Kelly in prison in Chicago? I have to look that up, but yeah, it would be funny if they ended up in the same location if he's guilty. Okay. And Michael says, yes. I don't know. I look at him and I see a demon. Oh my God. Oh my God, y'all. I was actually at an R. Kelly concert before he was arrested. And yeah, I felt an energy. I mean, I loved his music. I did. But I know what you're saying. Like when I look at R. Kelly, and I did a video about that as well, because with R. Kelly, y'all, I did a lot of old videos. There, it's alleged that his grandfather may actually be his biological father, because his sister, and these are all allegations, she touched him, and people are saying that her dad got her pregnant, and that R. Kelly is the result of that. And so I did a video about the demonic forces, and it's a lot. It is crazy. I see someone who's done a lot of bad-ish and is responsible for lies being. I know, that's the sad part about it. All of these people that are connected to him, there's so much destruction. Look at this coming back on J-Lo 20 years later. I mean, look at the people. Cassie, look at what, even though she's gotten these millions, they said that the man did number 2 on her, things like that. Like, can you imagine living through stuff like that? Now his kids are drug into this. If it is true that he had a hand in Kim Porter's unaliving, look at his 2 daughters. If he's convicted, they lose 2 parents. I mean, it's just ugly all the way around. Everything associated with him it seems to be a very negative force. Now we can even go back, and I didn't even talk about this in the video, but before the 1999 Pow Pow incident, what about that concert that he had where he was doing some concert? I believe it was in New York, and like 7 people were stampeded and they died, right? That was early on in his career when he was doing promotions, like, promoting parties and stuff. He started off on the wrong foot. Remember, because the doors were jammed and the people couldn't get out, so they were stampeded and some people died. Like all of this. So it's almost, and I know some people are going to be like, "Oh, that's weird. Don't think like that." But when I think back to that very first incident when that happened, I feel like because they didn't get justice because he was the promoter. I feel like maybe their souls or spirits or something kind of, it's like a haunting spirit over him, like something negative, right? That's how I feel. And so ever since then, I feel like it's just been a dark cloud, a negative force. And now we see it. It's the chickens are coming home to roost. Oh yeah, Billy, Ben regrets saying I do. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I mean, after all these years, he thought this was going to be their happy ending, but this is bad. I think this is really going to send him further into the bottle. That marriage is doomed. Oh no, you think it's doomed? Oh no. I think we live in testing times. We seem to have 2 types of people on earth, human beings and those trying to being human. Yeah. I'm on the being human. I'm human. I think that's the good side. I have a heart and a spirit, and yes, well said, Billy. You guys, I'm going to wrap up here because I've been on an hour, so I don't want to take up too much of your time. I appreciate you coming tonight. Tomorrow, I think I'm going to go. I keep saying I'm going to talk about this Jay-Z thing, so I got to pull all of these pieces together because I did a lot of a bit of a deep dive into him and Foxy, and I think that's enough to even talk about him and the other women. But tomorrow, I think I'm going to go and revisit that video, and we can talk about the fact that they denied it, but I think he did. I think they dated, and I think they dated when she was about 15. We hear noise that Jay-Z is the puppet master pulling the strings. Yeah, I mean, I really feel like it's somebody over both of them because remember, Puffy just kind of rose to the position of executive of Bad Boys very quickly with no money. You know how in corporate America to get to that C-suite, even it takes years. Like you don't just get there unless people are putting you in position. And when they put you in position, they expect you to be the puppeteer, the puppet, not the puppeteer. And I feel the same about Jay-Z. I feel like they were allowed into this. People talk about secret societies and you know what they call it, but I really feel the secret society, those are just the decision makers. Those are the people who hold the money men who are really making things happen, the billions of billions, and just that whole little elite circle. So I don't think that Jay-Z or Diddy are at the top of that food chain. I just don't. I think there's a clique way bigger than the both of them. But I feel like their time is up. And I feel like because a lot of people, just like with Epstein, remember their ties to the royal family, to, different politicians and Clinton and, the people that have visited the island. It doesn't matter. Like just everybody who visited that island doesn't mean that they did something or everybody affiliated with him. But so many people with this whole new Diddy thing, there are going to be some people who did stuff and there are going to be some people who, just happened to be around and didn't do anything, but nobody's going to want to be exposed. And so that's going to be where the problem stems. Who has the power to say, listen, I can't stand to lose my wife or my position. And I was with Diddy because look at them naming TD Jakes. Like there are going to be some powerful people possibly that Diddy has information on in those tapes or affiliation. So what's going to happen there, right? And just like Epstein, remember how quickly he expired once he he was in prison because, of course, he was supposed to talk, and that there was that little black book that still had information. I think that it's going to be a similar situation. Like if Diddy makes it, if he makes it and gets acquitted and this doesn't go to trial or anything, I think people are still going to be gunning for him because they're going to feel like, oh, you have our secrets and we got to make sure they stay secret, And if he gets arrested, like if I got arrested and somebody said, well, listen, if you tell us this, if there's a bigger don over you, we can make a deal with you. What do you think Diddy's going to do? Because remember, there's also a rumor that Diddy said, I will unalive my mama to do what I need to do to save myself. So I don't know. Okay, let me go through these real quick. Okay, is that morning or night? I'm not sure what you're asking. But let me know, Queen Sherry, because I'm gonna get off in a second. But put the question in morning or night. What? Yes, good point on the J-Lo situation. I think that's what's going to happen. Yeah, J-Lo, they don't want J-Lo. I mean, come on, J-Lo. She getting to be a old lady. I mean, even if she had a hand in this, it wasn't that much. She didn't pow the person, and it was 20 years ago, and he was acquitted. But they will use her to give information and to bring all this stuff back up about him. And that's all. I think that's all they want her to do. And believe you me, she probably will do it. I'm sure she will. Why not? She wants to be done with this. And at this point, it's just kind of ruined. That's always been a shadow over her career, right? She wants to be done with this. So let me do what I got to do. Just tell the truth, J-Lo. That's all you got to do, really. Because if there was something that happened, clear your conscience, be free, and do the right thing. That's it. Just goes to show you what you do in life cannot be erased. That's so true. They say in London, if you get arrested, it's on your record for 7 years or something. Well, shit is on your record for life and beyond. Absolutely. There's a spiritual penalty that we all pay. I mean, that's kind of how I live my life, and I govern myself because I know that even if I think I'm getting away with something, man, I feel like every day I'm reminded, you better walk a straight, narrow path, which I'm human. Okay. But I try not to do things that will hurt or harm any other person. Nobody's perfect, but yes, some stuff is just egregious. Nice to be here. Have a great day all. So Billy, I'm going to say, it's got to be, let me see, because my UK friends, is it midnight there? You got to tell me what time it is. And you have a good night too. There's some noise going on saying that those that run the music scene also run the private prisons. And oh yeah, now I don't know the connection between the private prisons, but I have been hearing that people are saying they've been trying to get this information so that they can, that Diddy was getting rogue, and they did this to get the information so that a lot of this stuff doesn't come out. And I mean, you never know. Like we see all these movies. It's an election year coming up, right? So maybe they want to get this information so that something crazy doesn't come out. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But I think Diddy's going to be arrested. Not anytime soon, though, because I did see a reporter who had some exclusive information from somebody that's part of the investigation saying that he won't be arrested anytime soon. So I don't know what that means. Yeah, but I think there will be an arrest. Tuesday morning in London, probably night over the pond. Yes, it is evening here. It's almost 10 o'clock for me. Billy says, you nailed it with the election year thing. Yeah, I think this has and that's another thing. So even with a case this big, whoever is like running for these positions and district attorney and all that other stuff, they will make and even for Homeland Security, I don't know how those how those positions are, but they might say, we're going to make an example of you. We want this position and power. So, I think Diddy's going down. But thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope to see you tomorrow. Tomorrow, we are going to talk about Jay-Z. Unless there's something earth-shattering and some new info about Diddy, let's get into this Jay-Z stuff because I think this is very intriguing, right? Because the Diddy stuff is just going to kind of sail on until they get some, if it goes to the grand jury and all this stuff. So we just got to kind of wait this one out and see. So anyway, y'all all have a great rest of your morning, evening, afternoon, whatever it is. and have a, stay blessed. All right. Bye. Yes. Thank you.